Hey, welcome to the His and Hers Freedom Podcast, where faith, family, and freedom always come first.
We are Frank and Alyssa Williams, mom and dad to 5 beautiful children. Every week, we're going to dive into a mix of family, current events, and what it's like to hold the minority opinion in today's world. So grab whatever caffeine keeps you going.
Or some pre-workout. Let's get it.
Welcome into episode 3. This week, we're diving into a topic that's a little heavier, but so important. The justice system and how it impacts families, especially when children are involved.
Yeah, this episode's going to get a little personal for us. Over the past several years, myself, our family, has had a front row seat to what works and what doesn't when it comes to the courts and our children's welfare. Between my 8-year custody battle and a recent false CPS allegation here in Texas, we've seen both sides of what works and what doesn't.
Yes, and that's exactly why we wanted to bring today's guest on, because our experience in Montgomery County was so different. It was professional, compassionate, and trauma-informed. Our caseworker showed us that not every CPS or court experience has to be traumatic. There are people in this system who genuinely care and want to help families heal instead of tear them apart.
Yep. Yeah, restoring the family unit. So this brings us to Judge Valdez. She is the presiding judge for Montgomery County Court, Law Number 6. She's doing some groundbreaking work when it comes to family and juvenile law.
Her courtroom is trauma-informed. She helped launch the Justice-Involved Youth Advocacy Program right here in Texas. She's passionate about collaboration between schools, nonprofits, and the courts to help kids get on the right path.
In today's episode, we're going to talk with her about what a trauma-informed courtroom actually looks like, how her faith and compassion show up in her leadership, and what she thinks our community can do to make a difference.
Our hope with this conversation is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the justice system from someone who's leading with both head and heart, and maybe remind us all that the system doesn't have to be broken if the people inside it are willing to lead with integrity and empathy.
So with that, let's jump right in.
Judge Valdez, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me today, Frank and Alyssa. I am so excited to be here to talk to you about the pioneering projects that we've done in our juvenile justice court here in Montgomery County. Just a little background on myself. I am a mother of 4 amazing sons. They're all grown. 3 of my 4 sons are in the military. My oldest son and his family with 2 beautiful grandchildren, ages 8 and 6, live down in League City. My second son is in the Air Force. He and his wife and our 2 grandbabies are stationed at J-Bear in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
One of our grandsons is autistic. He's a level 2 nonverbal. He turns 5 on November 1st, and our other grandson there in Alaska is 11. My third son just got out of the Army last year and is in the Army Texas National Guard. He finishes up his 1-year term in about 2 months or so. And then my youngest son is in the Marine Corps stationed at Miramar in San Diego, and he is a flight crew chief on CH-53s. So we are very proud of our kids from a very early age on. My boys have always been patriotic. We have always loved our country. My father is a Vietnam veteran, 2 tours in Vietnam as a Marine, and retired from the Texas Air National Guard. So the military runs through our blood, and definitely very proud of my family. Having my family and is a big thing of why I do what I do. I was raising my children and getting my education and getting my law degree, all while my babies were little. And so that time with my babies was very, very important to me. And as a student, I was able to take the caseloads that I needed to take in order to get my Bachelor's of Art in Spanish from Lamar University in Beaumont. Scholarship my first year to Texas Tech University School of Law with babies in tow. And my youngest one was 3 months old when I started law school. So when I finished, I decided I want to be a mom for 2 years. So I took 2 years off, took my bar exam next month, believe it's November 5th. I will be licensed 20 years in the state of Texas. And I'm just very,
Wow.
very
Wow.
proud of being an attorney for that long. And it seems hard to believe, but it's been 20 years, but it's like the blink of an eye, it's gone by. I've been here 18 years in Montgomery County and have focused in on 18 years of my practice in the family law, child welfare law, juvenile law realm. And you know, when God just puts you where you're supposed to be and gives you all the challenges that you're going to face, He's with you, He guides you through it, but He also prepares you for the next rung on your ladder of success. And that's what I say that has happened to me experiencing things with my family, the dynamics of intertwining family law in my life as well. And I am married to Mike Valdez. He is a criminal defense attorney here in Montgomery County, and we've been married 6 years. And he's my second time around, and I feel very blessed to have him in my life. It's very wonderful for him because he did not have any children of his own. So he thanks me daily for bringing him a family. So
That's awesome.
I really love the way we're going to take this episode with the faith, family, and fight for justice, because it is so imperative that we restore our families today, not only in Montgomery County, but the state of Texas and across the nation. Because with our families disintegrating, that's where we see our values and our faith start deteriorating. And so we've just got to bring our families to the forefront.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Thank
So,
you.
wow. First of all, thank you to your family for the service there. It said 3 out of 4 sons.
Yes, yes.
And so in Alaska to League City, is that
Alaska to League City to San Diego, and I actually have one baby at home, so he's back in school from the Army. But yeah,
wow?
we've been all over the state chasing them
That's
from
awesome.
graduating boot camp to their tech schools. So it's been wonderful.
Well, tell your boys the two. You've got two American patriots that really appreciate their service. Our
Thank
family
you.
served in different wars and for different military branches, so it's very inspiring, and we love to see that for
yes,
sure.
absolutely.
Thank
And
you. Well, thank
what-
your family too for their service.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What an amazing mom, woman, wife. Gosh, what a blessing you are to
Kidding.
your people.
That's-
You've
Thank
done it
you.
all. You've
Yeah.
done it all, and that's so inspiring, especially with how involved you are in Montgomery County and in not even having young children anymore. I would think now your purpose is more focused on the generation that your grandchildren are growing up in, because you have the power to make that difference for them. And so I think that is just so commendable. All that you've done.
You've also helped launch the Justice Involved Youth Advocacy Program, which I'm reading is a kind of a first of its kind in Texas, which is also incredible. Can you tell us about how that program kind of came to be, what kind of difference it's making for kids who find themselves in trouble?
Yeah, I would be happy to share that with you. Just a little background on my time in Montgomery County at the county attorney's office. When I was there for approximately 5 years, I was an assistant county attorney as a prosecutor in the Child Protective Services Division. I heard you all speak of your involvement with CPS, and we, as a prosecutor, some of the cases you see are the worst of the worst, especially those child death cases. And so I learned early on the significance of having a court-appointed special advocate. At the time, that was CASA, and how this individual worked with the family, represented the best interest of the children as an advisory to the court, to let the court know what's going on in the child's life, what's going on in the parent's life, what more can we do to help restore the family, to bring this family back together, or if there was no possible realm that these parents were going to be able to parent this child, what did we need to do next for them? And that was my first exposure to the importance of an advocate. When I left the county attorney's office, I went into private practice for about 5 years. And in that time, I served as what we call an amicus. And that is a friend of the court, meaning the court would appoint an attorney as the amicus who would work with the other attorneys representing the parents. But it was focused more on an advisory position of what is in the best interest of the children. So if the amicus saw issues between mom and dad, maybe they failed to co-parent appropriately. Maybe one was using substances. Maybe one was a parent alienator. Having all that training in my background, I did take additional training to recognize parental alienation. And I believe educating oneself as not only an attorney, but as a judge is very, very important to keep up with the knowledge that you need to make decisions either as an amicus or as a judge on the bench. And so that all led me to become an associate judge in the family court here in Montgomery County. And I was the associate judge for 5 years for Tracy Gilbert in the 418th District Court. And I must say, and I appreciate, Alyssa, the words you said about your experience here in Montgomery County. We have one of the finest family law judiciaries here in Montgomery County. Every one of our sitting judges, be it family law judge, presiding judge, or that presiding judge's associate judge, as well as myself here in the juvenile court, we're all board certified in family law. And I believe there's 4 of us that are also double board certified in child welfare law.
Wow.
So that means less than 1% of licensed attorneys in the state of Texas are double board certified. There is exceptional knowledge here on the bench in family law and juvenile matters. And I think that's very important because that gives us not only the experience, the education, but the innovativeness to take it to the next level where we see that it needs to be taken. And that gets me to my Justice Involved Youth program. When I became judge of County Court at Law Number 6, and it was decided before I took the bench that all the juvenile cases would come to this court, and it was the first home court for juvenile docket. Prior to me, the juvenile docket rotated every 2 years to different judges in the misdemeanor courts. No family law background training in that, just the criminal aspect of it. Well, when I took over the bench, I realized that it was very significant that our legislators had placed the Juvenile Justice Code within the Family Code itself. The Texas Family Code applies, Juvenile Justice Code applies, but it does have a criminal aspect to it because of the allegations that bring these kids into court. Mm-hmm. And realizing the significance of that in the Juvenile Justice Code is very prominent that what the objective is in juvenile law is restoration and rehabilitation and accountability. And I hold those 3 things very close to me because I think it's very important that accountability is first, rehabilitation is necessary as well, and responsibility. We've got to have some responsibility with going forward on all counts in the family dynamics. So when I was placing these children on probation, and about 95% of the kids go on probation by agreement. And it's a formal way of being involved with these children and their families for approximately 12 months, sometimes to 24 months, depending on the allocation. But it gives us an opportunity to work with this family. And our JPOs, our juvenile department here in Montgomery County is one of the leading juvenile departments in the state of Texas. So we are just completely blessed all the way around and work very well. Definitely servant hearts in our leaders, Christians who love Montgomery County families and just want to do what we can to give these kids a second chance and to get on the right path. But again, also holding them accountable when poor choices are made or when it's necessary to make those decisions for accountability. So trying to get back on track here. When I saw that there was a need, that we needed an advocate, just like advocate in child welfare cases, and that these kids needed someone, not only just their JPO, and that's their juvenile probation officer, but they needed someone that could help guide them as well as guide the family, navigating the waters of therapy, family therapy, anger management classes, making sure that their educational needs are met. So I collaborated with Anne Marie Ronsman. She is the executive director of court-appointed special advocates, which has now become child advocates in Montgomery County. And we saw the need together because with the changes in the laws under the child welfare system, where it is becoming a little bit more difficult to remove children by the way the laws are written, and now the laws lean more towards trying to restore the family as well, which I think is a wonderful way of approaching those cases. But we're ending up with a lot of more children in the juvenile justice system that have trauma from early on situations that maybe if a different day or time would have been removed, but weren't. So we take the families as we find them, and then we make a game plan from there to go forward and address the needs. But what the goal is of being on probation is to rehabilitate these young people so that our recidivism rate coming back to juvenile court, or the rates of juveniles that have gone from the juvenile justice system to the adult system, significantly decreases.
Yes. You and I, Judge, we talked about that yesterday. I was just saying how amazing it is that you're catching these children or these juveniles early on to kind of recorrect their path and let them know, just because I made this one mistake doesn't mean I have to continue down this repetitive path, or just because I'm in a home where there is neglect, there is an abuse, there is drug or alcohol abuse. Just because I grew up there doesn't mean it's too late for me. I can be that generational break in my family, and I just so love how much you guys are putting into them so early on, so that when they are teenagers, they're not repeating that pattern of behavior. You started working with the counselor in ISD, and
Yes.
you brought that counselor on, and you're also working with nonprofits, child advocates, to learn about your program.
With the advocacy program, so when you came into the bench, it was you that kind of set the precedent to have everybody board certified in family law, or did that just kind of come about?
That was just organic in and of itself.
Okay.
Judge Gilbert was board certified in family law. Judge Robin, when she took over the 410th District Court, she's board certified. Judge Tucker, who is the judge over County Court at Law number 3, she became board certified. As Judge Gilbert's associate judge, he encouraged me to take the board certification for family law while I was working with him. And so I became board certified. And it was just that ripple effect that we all felt it was very, very important to have our family law judiciary all board certified. And then along with
understand
that,
the law and practice it, right?
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
yes,
I think it was
it's the next
Charlie.
level expertise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then with that, we were able to bring in child welfare. So I think Judge Robin is board certified in child welfare. Judge Gilbert, myself, Judge Tucker is. So there's 4 of us that are board certified in child welfare as well. And the child welfare court is County Court at Law number 3, Judge Tucker. So she's had that. And so she does family law cases and child welfare cases.
Okay.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
just awesome. I think being the best you can be, having all the knowledge that you can possibly get your hands on. I mean, what a testament to the entire Montgomery County judicial and court system for everybody to take that initiative when you don't have to. It's not a requirement. It's just that we have people on the bench right now that they want to be the very best. They want to do what's best for the community.
So you have a group of people who are board certified and educated in that particular subject, and I feel like they're all kind of striving for that family unit. I mean, it was Charlie Kirk that said, if you have a strong family, we have a strong nation.
There's a stark contrast between our personal experience with the court system and what you guys are doing in Montgomery County and how swift things happen.
I believe that, and I love that we're trying to keep the family together. Obviously, there's situations where they can't be, and that's heartbreaking. I would say most of that is probably from bad decisions, but it's great to have a group of people that are on the bench and they are striving for the family.
Advocating for the family unit. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, and if I may add, when I took the bench, I was able to focus on and I could recognize the dynamics of a family. I can listen to a case and maybe within 3 to 4 minutes, I can size up what's going on in that family. I have studied families so much, the appropriate functions of a family, the dysfunctional behaviors in a family. And then we put in the mix of what I see the most is about 90% of my cases involve substance abuse. And if you dissect these substance abuse that I'm seeing, and generally it's THC, marijuana, and it's vapes, and it could be at school and such like that. But I started dissecting those cases, and there is an underlining untreated or undiagnosed mental health issue. And then sometimes those mental health issues will stem from untreated trauma within the home. And then you start breaking down, and it's just like peeling back an onion, with the core of the onion being a healthy family. And you're just peeling things back, and we have parents who are substance abuse users themselves with untreated trauma issues. And so focusing in on what's at the core of the family, what can we do to restore this family so that we can get these kids, because again, 90% of my cases are going to be possession charges, allegations. And so realizing that, I started branching out in the community. And first it was child advocates. And then with the good Lord's help, I stumbled upon Mosaics of Mercy. They offer assistance to individuals and families that what they do is they navigate the waters of counselors or therapists. So you would contact them, and then from there, they take all your information, and then they have a database, a networking system of therapists, substance abuse, individual therapy, family therapy, severe mental health issues, educational issues, anger management. Wow. And it's a one phone call for the parent, rather than the parent trying to, I would say yellow pages, but I'm going to date myself on that. Looking, Googling therapist in Montgomery County, and then getting just
And
a
then,
long list of
yeah,
people. And then this poor parent not only is trying to make sure that they don't lose their job by trying to address their family's needs, but they're working hard to put food on the table, keep the lights on, and then they have trauma going on in their home. And so this is one way that I felt was such a significant importance to the families, is if these families can speak to someone, usually immediately right after I've heard their case, then within 48 hours, we've got a phone call to them, and we're on a road of restoration. And I'm just so pleased with
That's
with
awesome.
that contact. And we're also able, through child advocates, to get community resource references. Child Advocates now has a food pantry. They have assistance, and then they work with other community organizations for payments on light bills. Maybe it's 1 month of rent that's behind, and we need to help the family to stay in their home. Maybe it's turning the water back on. Maybe it's clothes or a food bank trip, something along those lines. But for me, as a judge, it's just not about what goes on in front of me. I need to have the ripple effect. And if I can be the pebble that's dropped in the water, bringing the ideas, then I want my effect to resonate out and ripple out to these families to restore them.
Yeah, definitely.
So touching on that, when you were saying that this organization takes in clothes and donations and things like that, is that something that we should be, maybe the people or listeners in Montgomery County, instead of just taking your donations or whatever that you clean out to Goodwill or any of those donation drops, would it be best for us to drop things there?
I know that in speaking with Hands of Justice and Interfaith, some families will get vouchers that they can take to Angel Reach, their boutique.
Okay.
So I would just encourage, if you have something, just call some of the organizations that we have in the area. You can start at Child Advocates and say, you know what, I specifically want to help a juvenile's family. And maybe it's a justice involved youth is what we call our young people. And how can we do that? And then Child Advocates could get with some of their advocates and find out what those specific needs are. But I always encourage everyone, Community Assistance Center, find the best way to get involved is find what's local in your backyard. What's around me that I can do, that I can focus on, and what God puts upon your heart for you to focus on. And maybe it is just say, I'm going to do spring cleaning here and give things. That is huge. That is so huge. Or it's the food bank. Maybe I'm going to clean out my pantry and I have some things that, I tried that. Maybe those SpaghettiOs and the kids didn't like them. Pack those up and take it to the food bank. Because what I found in Montgomery County, we are so blessed with our nonprofit organizations and all of our community organizations, because our leaders of those organizations, they are friends. They will call one another and say, hey, we can't assist this family, but can we refer this family to you? Because we know you do X, Y, and Z. And it's almost like a directory that they have, the knowledge, the more events that you can go to, the more you can even look on Facebook. and get involved on Facebook and start following some of the organizations online
Yes.
in Montgomery
Yes.
County. I believe that things need to start at home before we can expand out. And it's just,
Absolutely.
we just have such a giving county.
We
Yeah.
do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Just going off what you just said, Judge, starting that restoration at home, I believe that's where it's at. Mosaics of Mercy.
Yeah.
So they go after the counselor or the counselors for the family?
Yes, they're called navigators, and they have navigators assigned. And so this
Okay.
navigator will meet with the family, get information from the family, names, address, insurance information. What is the need? What can we do for you? And then they take that specific information, and they have a system where they know which therapist or counselor can address those needs, and they will assist in finding the perfect fit. And that just takes a load off you think of it as an equation of, okay, now I need to see a doctor regarding my knee, and you don't know the first thing about going to an orthopedist. I'm going to Google orthopedist in Montgomery County, and then say you come out with 15 different doctors. Then you've got to, on your own time, go through and see who takes your insurance, and then, well, is this doctor specialized in a certain area for what I need? This is what the Mosaics of Mercy does.
That's
They take
awesome.
all of your needs, and they make the phone calls and put the families in touch with the counselors, the therapists, the programs that they need.
So these navigators are just basically road mapping
Yes,
your counselor out for you, or counselors. That's amazing.
absolutely.
For the family.
And
That's great.
since we've implemented that about 3 months or so ago, they're in court with me, and so I'll ask the family. I'm going to order individual counseling and family counseling for you all. I will tell you, the kids are asking for it. The parents are asking for it. We need help. Our communication skills, we don't have any. We need help through this. So I asked them, I said, would you like to speak to someone from Mosaics and Child Advocates? I have never had a family member, a parent, a legal guardian tell me no.
Right.
They say,
Right.
yes, please.
They
They
need
say
the
yes,
help.
please.
They want the help. They realize and recognize that they're broken and they need it. Yeah.
I'm glad it's there.
That's
tonight.
amazing.
And it's just the tip of the iceberg of what we're envisioning for the future for our justice-involved youth children.
Well, so segueing right into that, outside of the courtroom, Judge, what community issues are currently top of mind for you? What are you most passionate about right now? Montgomery County is growing so fast, and I mean, we know that, but what challenges or opportunities do you think we as individuals and as community members, what do you think we should be paying more attention to or focused on so that we can make a difference? The general public can make a difference.
Generally, in families, I think I'm huge in saying we don't need cell phones at school, as a proponent for that. And I'm also huge when a child is struggling with substance abuse issues of taking the phone and saying, we're not going to do our cell phone right now. We're not going to do electronics right now. We're not going to do social media. And let's work on yourself and work on the family. So for me, I would love to see more family communication time where both parents and children put down their phones and just communicate. I would love if we could assist families how to start having a dialogue with one another. I've recently read a book called The Anxious Generation, and it talks about the mental health crisis with anxiety and depression stemming from early access social media. and electronics. And I grew up in the 80s. I graduated high school in 86. So it was dark ages. And, my parents didn't know where I was. I didn't have a cell phone. There was no social media. We passed notes to our friends. We wrote notes out and gave it to our friends when classes were changing. And I'll jokingly say, okay, I'm going to bring you back to the dark ages. We're going to the 80s. And I keep things light and humor, but what I want them to do is these kids don't have enough time to be kids, and they're so focused on growing up so fast. And I want to have families realize it's fleeting, because in a blink of an eye, my oldest one's 37 and my youngest one just turned 25. And it's like, I'd give anything if I could go back 48 hours and have them little again.
Yep.
Even as a parent, I'll keep my cell phones there. Or even with my husband and I, we're sitting on the sofa and I'm on my phone, he's on his phone, and I'm like, okay, time out, 20 minutes, put the
Yeah.
phones down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's my biggest thing is we've got to have the communication, and we've got to take away the stigmatism of kids wanting to say, hey, I need help. Maybe I'm anxious about this, and mom, dad, counselor, teacher, can you help me work through this issue?
Yeah.
We just need to get back to communicating face to face, one-on-one, family time, family dialogue. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and kids are looking for that connection and the acceptance and the
Structure.
the love. If we as parents are not giving that to them, then the first place they're going to go is their phones and social media, because you get that dopamine hit over and over and over again. And then if they're not getting it there, then the next place they're going is their friends at school. And we all know how differently everyone parents, right? So I'm totally on board with that 100%. And matter of fact, Frank actually said this past Sunday, he said, okay, starting this week, let's turn our phones off on Sundays. Of course, leave them on for emergencies. No social media. Let's have it our family day of rest. Go to church, come home, make lunch, do whatever. But this is our family time that nobody else gets to be a part of. And so I totally agree with what you're saying. And it's just confirmation for us that that's what we need to do. So absolutely.
Yeah. And just kind of recognizing it may be the neighbor's kid that just needs you to acknowledge, hey, how's it going? Or just a smile. And, we've just become desensitized to actually smiling at one another and saying, how are you doing? Or have a good day. And I know it's going to take us time to get back to that. But I think everyone at their core wants the same thing. And it's just a strong family and a strong connection.
Yes, and
Strong
community.
connection.
Yeah.
We'll take we'll go running and walking in our neighborhood, and I can't tell you how many people will pass where we're looking at them for a solid 30 feet, and I'll wave or say something, and they just keep on walking, don't say anything. They don't have headphones in, nothing. I'm like, man, how can you be out here walking and not want to just say hello?
And the kids will say, well,
our little one,
that was, she's 4, and
she'll say
go,
rude.
She's like, I said hello.
Yes.
You're supposed to say hi back. But no, connection and communication is it's so important these days.
Yep.
Everybody has to have that.
And we depend on it from social media. So we need to get away from that.
You can tell, we have iPad time. Man, I'd say all the kids, but the 6-year-old and the 4-year-old, when they get a little more iPad time, and I'm talking 15 minutes more, they become different people, like little monsters. Where it's okay, we've got to reel you back in. They're just
because they get overstimulated
from screen time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are phenomenal, and you're going to bring about amazing changes with your podcast, and you're setting such a good precedent as parents, and especially parents in blended families, because it's a challenge sometimes to blend your families.
Yes.
And you guys have done an amazing job, and you could just tell, there's so much humbleness in that, and definitely you've got to give each other grace. I always say grace has to be there. And I was just
thank you so much.
I get to live with her. Yeah.
I know, I'm jealous. I'm going to make it to where I talk to her at least once a week, because she's just such an inspiration.
We said yesterday, I said, I could talk to you all day long, Judge. And she goes, me too.
Yeah. But you know what? I want to leave with the families in court. I want them to leave feeling that someone heard them, someone's listening, someone's going to help. And I always tell my staff, we have to remember the courtroom is adjacent to our offices. So for us, the courtroom is our office. But we have to remember each person that comes to court that has a matter before me, they're not happy to be there. It's their worst day.
Yes.
And so my biggest promise to myself is when someone comes on their worst day, I'm going to leave them feeling better than they felt when they got there.
Well, and you do that day to day naturally. I mean,
and that's hard to do.
It is hard to do, but that is something that you're so great at, and I want to encourage you that It really does. I left that night just so uplifted. And even at the roundup, I was just like, oh, I love her. So she was so positive, so uplifting. And that takes a special person to be able to keep up that rapport with people, because it truly does make a difference. And everything that you're doing, you can tell, is with love and compassion and grace.
I am a conservative Christian, and that falls within being a Republican. So I can say I am a Republican. I am a Republican. I am a Christian. I am a conservative. I take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the state of Texas. And
we're in peak season for the upcoming elections. For your supporters or people that would love to support you, what do you need? Is it just figure out what your values are, learn what you stand for, and then spread the word to friends, family, and say, hey, we've got to get behind her. Amazing. She's doing great things for the kids in our community. She's doing a great job with the families that are broken.
so we will start at the polls on early voting beginning February 17th, and
Okay.
we will work those 10 days hard and fast and try to do our best to get the voters that are coming in, maybe that we haven't spoke to, or they haven't heard about the judicial race. And that's my goal, is to make sure everyone knows that it's down ballot. So you'll have all the important races ahead of us, and then the judges are at the end. And I would just encourage all the voters to make sure you go down ballot.
Vote Valdez.
Hashtag vote Valdez. Yes, ma'am. And
I love it.
it's just, I can't tell you how much it means to me for our voters. There's so much ahead of us, and we're just beginning. I was going to say the biggest thing to get across is that in juvenile justice cases, that it boils down to the core of the family. And as I said before, I'm the only candidate with 20 years experience, 18 years in family law, child welfare law, juvenile law, double board certified in family law and child welfare law. My court also hears civil cases up to my jurisdictional limit, which is about to change to 325,000. So I hear contract cases. I hear personal injury cases with negligence and other torts. I'm also the de novo court for all 5 JP courts here in Montgomery County, meaning if you have an action, cause of action in JP court, in our justice courts, and that matter is appealed, County Court at Law number 6 is the court, the de novo court, that will hear that appeal. But what I want people to remember, even in civil cases, the nexus of it affects your family. It could be financial. It could be an injury from a car accident.
Thank you for sharing.
I wanted to ask, for people who are wanting to assist or help in your campaign, do you have a way that they can contact you?
If they will go to, on my webpage, there's a little section at the bottom, and it talks about asking you if you want to get involved, if you want to know more. And so we'll get your information.
I'll put your website in the description of this episode, a link directly to get involved. I'll put the email where the community can contact you, and then we'll put hashtag vote Valdez. We'll put the meet and greet date.
Thank you, Alyssa.
February 10th. And then I'm going to also put the information that the polls start February 7th.
Yeah, some people come as early as 5:30. I'll be there early setting up, and I'm happy to visit with people who, if they show up early. I think around 6 o'clock we'll start getting everything moving forward.
Judge, thank you so much for your time today. I know you are a busy lady. We so love and appreciate the work that you're doing, and we appreciate you coming on today and talking with us. So
thank you for what you're doing and have done so
Oh,
far.
thank you. It's my pleasure and my honor to do that. And I want to say thank you both for having me as your guest. I am just so impressed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. You're such a great example of what it looks like to serve with both heart and strength. Thank you for all that you're doing for the families in our community.
And to everyone listening, remember, change starts local. So show up, get involved, support the people making a difference right here at home.
That's right. Thanks again, Judge Valdez, and thank you all for tuning in this week. Make sure you subscribe, share the episode, and join us next time as we keep having the conversations that matter the most. And also, side note, if there's anything that you'd like for us to talk about that we haven't already covered, please let us know at hisandhersfreedompod@gmail.com, and I will link that in the show notes below. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope something you heard encouraged or challenged you.
Yeah, and if it did, share it with a friend, leave us a quick review, and keep standing for faith, family, and freedom.
See ya!